So right now we're in the DMDM manufacturing facility. This is an FDA registered medical device manufacturing facility in Tucson, Arizona. We've been around in one form or another since about 2022 when we made our first tourniquet. We became registered with the FDA in 2024 and we've been manufacturing ever since then. DMDM came out of Mutual Aid Disaster Relief, which is an organization in the US that does disaster relief on a kind of community level. It was also inspired during the pandemic when we saw a lot of small-scale manufacturing, people getting together in basements and sewing face masks, hacker spaces, building face shields. There was a white paper written by OSMS, Open Source Medical Supplies, that quantified the economic output of these community-scale manufacturing. We wanted to make sure that that phenomenon was carried forward because we know that we are one minor disaster away from a supply chain collapse, just like we were in 2020. And so we wanted to start building the infrastructure when things were still relatively stable. We strongly believe in the open source ecosystem being the future of production and manufacturing in our society. Anybody that buys a life-saving device should be able to see what the people making it are doing as far as testing and mistakes they've made. We share everything. We share our failures, we share our successes. We do that so that other people can replicate what we've done and people can see and audit what we're doing, see if it's safe, see if it's effective. And we work openly with open source hardware designers, open source software designers, and it's an ecosystem. We are able to give them feedback, they give us feedback, we use our products, we provide feedback based on that use, and it becomes a very rapid, self-improving system.
I think in such a time of unprecedented corporate capture, open source can be a really important tool in pushing back against corporate monopolies. We can design and build the things that we need. We have so much expertise and so much experience in our communities that open source allows us a way to work together on a distributed scale, to work together on projects from a distance and improve and iterate on designs that we need, that we can build.
I think it's important for people to understand that we have and always have had the power to build things that we need at a community level. And so what we're really advocating for is bringing together your community and thinking carefully about how to make the things that we need to support each other. Yeah, I really enjoyed your talk.
Yeah, I was surprised to see. I was like, oh, it's that guy that said something about my talk. And yeah, I remember y'all's presentation. You have a space, right? Is that what DMDM is?
Yeah, we're a small FDA registered facility, make class 1 devices based on open source designs.
So I'm really interested in that. How did you guys get FDA cleared, and is it, I'm guessing it's for specific devices. What does it mean to be FDA cleared?
Anything pre-market exempt. Basically, you hand FDA $13,000 a year and you're a registered facility. What that buys...
For any class 1 devices?
And class 2 pre-market exempt, of which there are several.
Interesting. Where can I find that list?
There's a really frustrating FDA database that you can search by code.
Could we make a tutorial together?
Absolutely, yeah. That's one of the reasons I liked your talk, and when you talked at that first day, because I can definitely tell you're a quality nerd.
No, I'm not. I'm a cool kid, FYI.
Well, you know more than that. Today, we're going to have a small workshop. We're going to introduce the concept of OSHWA to several Tucson mutual aid groups, and then we're going to get some ideas from these frontline organizations on different things that the Oshawa community at large can design. So we're hoping to come up with some requirements and specifications that we can use as a starting point for some designs. So in Tucson, we've got a wealth of frontline activists that work on humanitarian crises and different aspects, and so we want to tap into that knowledge. Get into small groups, and they can be fluid, and they can be ad hoc. Let's brainstorm, let's think about some things. The one thing that we want to try to do is come up with a pretty rigorous set of requirements for whatever the device is. So let's take the stretcher, for example. So I got it in my head that we needed a low-cost stretcher because I saw a photo recently of Gaza of somebody being evacuated on a half-broken wooden pallet. And obviously the people responding to that would rather have a stretcher. And if you look online, these collapsible stretchers are about $400. We know for a fact we can make them for around 30. We just need a good design. Where's the stretcher?
That is a problem. How does it conceptually solve?
And then each one of those components, like that tube, it needs to be durable, it needs to be heat resistant up to a certain temperature, it needs to be sturdy, the ink, it needs to stick to skin, it needs to be visible across all types of skin types.
Safe, be like
non-toxic.
corrosive.
Ideal.
Yeah.
Minimally toxic.
minimally corrosive.
Like in my day job, the hardest part is getting the customer to tell you what they actually want in a medical device. And that's what I'm hoping for, is that we actually come up with like a real good like customer requirement document for like 2 or 3 things. That's the hope. It's an idea, who knows if it'll work, we'll see. Yeah, and then worst case, we sit around and cross-pollinate on each other's projects and get to know each other better, but I'm hoping that we sneakily get some requirements that will inspire some of our colleagues on the more academic side to give some work designing some community needs.
And as we've continued to dive deeper into this work of small-scale, community-based manufacturing with a high standard for quality, we've realized just how empty that space is. I think there's a lot of work to be done in these decentralized, localized, very responsive manufacturing projects. It's a real invitation to all of us to dive into what our communities need, physically and materially. How can we produce that, and how can we involve the people that need these devices in the production of these devices?
All right, which group wants to go next? Tracy?
I can talk about one of the things that we were trying to figure out. That Sharpie idea, trying to get important information on melanated skin. We try to break it down to the components that are needed. So we'll need some sort of tube to contain it. There needs to be ink, an absorbent capillary to hold that ink, some sort of clicky thing so you can deploy it immediately, and some sort of ring to like attach it to other things.
I would love to see us existing in that ecosystem of people making things just out of their own values and volition, and using the resources that they as a community have.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think we're out of time, but I hope this was helpful and spurred conversations, and hope y'all enjoyed it.